Greetings on a Friday morning. So it's going to be a pretty fun weekend. We're not building vans. It's the first weekend of fall here in northern Michigan. And me and my buddy Joe, we put on an event every year called Joe and Joel's Excellent Color Tour. And basically what it is, it's just like the last summer celebration for us and our friends to go out and ride dirt bikes and quads and whatnot. But we do it every year. And we host it up at my family's property. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I got to cut in a dirt bike trail because we're going to have a race tomorrow afternoon. And then I have a couple buddies showing up tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to make a big breakfast, and then we're going to go out and ride the state land, get a bunch of good footage, hopefully no crashes. And then we come back to the property. We're going to have a dirt bike race, and we got trophies and stuff. And then after that, we're going to have a bit of a chili cook-off, and we're just going to generally have fun, bonfire, whatnot. But if you're wondering where I'm sleeping at, believe it or not, I'm in a van. I got a pretty cool view. And yeah, so I ended up, after I sold my old van, I found a 1991 Airstream B190. And kind of an interesting story. So Shannon's neighbor had it, and she had it out front for several months. And every time we drove past, I said, you know, when I see him outside, I want to stop and introduce myself and go check it out, because it looked pretty cool. So one day I saw him outside. I went over there, knocked on the door, or they were cleaning out the van, so I knocked on the van's door, and they open it up and they go, "Oh, hi," you know. And I said, "Hey, I was hoping I could check it out." And they go, "Oh, sure." So they take me through everything, and you know, she's telling me, "Oh, the oven works and the stove works, and you know, all this stuff." And I go, "Oh, that's cool, you know, that's really nice." And so I get all done poking around at it, and she goes, So are you interested?" And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Well, you're here to look at the van, aren't you?" And I go, "Yeah, I build them out. I was just kind of curious." And she goes, "Oh, I posted it on Facebook 30 minutes ago, and there was supposed to be a gentleman coming to look at it, but he was supposed to get here to 2 hours. I was kind of confused why you'd shown up so early." As we kind of laughed it off, and anyway, I bought it. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Let me get out of bed and I'll show you around. Hola, puppy. All right, so let me show you what a Airstream B190 is. So all the way in the back, we have a toilet, and then in this back corner, you can kind of see it's tight. We actually have a shower. I can't say it's fun to shower in it because it's so cramped, but you know, after you've been camping for a couple days, it feels good. That bed up there sits over the cab, and it's actually like just a smidge bigger than a queen. So compared to the other vans, it's really nice. And then it slides up, so it takes up no room, and it just hangs over the cab. So pretty slick and easy way to do it. And then on this side of it, behind the driver's seat, we have a fairly long couch. It's almost 6 foot long. Watch pause, pup. Or don't, whatever. There's a little flip out center console with some cup holders. And then this actually flips all the way out. You can go for a ride. Hang on, you're okay. Into a bed. So you got 2 beds in a pretty small van. Upper door cabinets. And we got a kitchen sink. Some more storage underneath. We have a propane refrigerator. Actually even has a little ice box. Look at that. And then what Shay really likes is we have a 4-burner stovetop and an oven. So this thing is pretty decked out, and everything works. The hot water heater, the refrigerator, everything works. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, interesting thing is when I bought the van, I asked her how many miles was on it, and the odometer rolls over every 100,000 miles. And so she goes, I don't know. She goes, when I bought it, I know about like 10 years ago, there was at least 100,000 on it. And she goes, I think it rolled over 2 times on us, maybe once. So right now we're between like either 250 or 350,000 miles on this van. But we've had our mechanic check it out, and he says everything's fine on it. And we've been bombing around all summer in Michigan, and we haven't had any issues. We had to put new tires on it. So if you guys are looking at older used vans, you know, everything in life is a trade-off. It really is. You can buy, you know, a brand new diesel Sprinter, and you can be pretty confident that it's going to last a long time. But if you buy something old that has a lot of miles, you know, there are certain advantages for that. And I'll tell you a story. I was about 2 hours outside of Valdez, Alaska in my old van, an old E350. And I started it up. We got done hiking. I started it up, and I heard just a nasty squealing sound out of the engine. And so I pop open the hood, and I find the idler pulley for the serpentine belt. The bearing had gone bad, and now the idler pulley was just riding on the stud. So it wasn't like a super dire emergency, but it was going to have to get fixed really soon. Otherwise, the belt would have broke. And so I limped the van 2 hours to Valdez, Alaska. I go to like the only auto parts store, and I asked the guy, you know, you got a tensioner pulley for a 5.4 Ford? And he goes, oh yeah, we got 5 of them on the shelf. And I go, what? How do you have 5 pulleys for this motor on the shelf? And he goes, well, that motor is used for everything. It's used for the F series pickup trucks, the E series vans. It's used for marine motors. He goes, it's pretty popular. And the reason why I tell you that is on these older vans, parts are everywhere. A lot of aftermarket companies make them, and most of your regular, you know, kind of backyard mechanics know how to work on these older motors. So even if you buy something old, it can be repaired. Anything can be repaired, and they can be repaired a lot cheaper than the new stuff. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention to you is most of this van is run by propane. So you cook with propane, and your refrigerator opts by propane, your hot water heater. And propane is kind of a touchy subject. I don't know if you guys noticed when I showed you the toilet, there's a Mr. Buddy heater, which is definitely a touchy subject with van dwellers. But everything has its place. So to give you an idea, so the little Mr. Buddy heater runs on a 1-pound tank of propane. 1 pound of propane is the equivalent to like close to 600 amp hours of energy. So if you watched the last Sprinter video, you saw my 3 big 200 amp hour batteries. 1 little pound cylinder of propane is equivalent to as much energy as those can store. On board of this van is an 11-pound propane tank. So, you know, you have a ton of energy storage in it. We've been camping all summer running the hot water heater, the refrigerator, the stove, and we haven't come close to using up our 11 pounds. So you get a massive amount of energy storage. The Mr. Buddy heater, I really like them if you use them properly. So the issue with a Mr. Buddy heater is it vents out a lot of humidity. The process of combustion will release water vapor into the air. Furnaces, things like that, have a heat exchanger, so that humid air from combustion blows right outside. It also blows out all of your carbon dioxide, and if it's burning dirty, carbon monoxide, so you don't have to worry about it. A Mr. Buddy heater, though, is a direct fired, so it vents all that into your living space. And it's not terrible. as long as you dilute it properly. So if you're going to run one, leave the windows open, a crack, leave your vent fan open a crack, and make sure you have some fresh air coming in and some sort of vent so that you can exhaust some of that humidity out. I don't like to run them for long durations. I definitely don't trust them if I'm going to be sleeping. But if you're going to wake up on a chilly morning, you know, or you're going to watch a movie in the evening and you don't want to be all bundled up, they are really nice because they're silent. So just something to keep in mind. It does have a furnace in here, but it's just so dang noisy. I hate running it. But propane could be a good way. If you hear that, I'm making coffee the old school way with the percolator. So kind of fun. But yeah, I'll get you outside the van and show you what it looks like, and then we're gonna start getting on our day. All right, so I've had some coffee and I'm awake. There's two things I did want to point out though real quick. If you notice, gross. Yeah, there was a leak up on the ceiling around the exhaust fan and it spread everywhere. I was able to seal it up, but I know there's gonna be rot up there. It's solid at the moment. It's not terrible. It just looks nasty, but when we take all of this down, that's gonna have to get replaced. And then we did have another problem. The back subfloor, all the linoleum is rotted out underneath there. The water pump had a leak. I don't think they figured it out for a long time, and it ended up soaking all that floor and rotting it. The nice thing about vans though are it's a solid body underneath it, so it's not like you're gonna put your foot through. But another thing that when we go to rebuild this one, we're gonna have to address. So, but here she is. So it has kind of that bull nose to it. Ford kept the same body style from 77 and 91. So personally, I think that's kind of cool. That old kind of vintage look. The dash is the same way. But one nice thing is this thing is rated to pull 6,000 pounds. So the Sprinter diesel is, I think, rated at 5, so it actually pulls more than the Sprinter. But yeah, so here's my family's property. We have a little storage shed / tiny house. Hasn't been built out yet, but it'll have some bunk beds in it and whatnot. And then we actually have a bathhouse. So it's has a shower, a toilet in there. We have a septic system, and then this is my dad's brainchild. We just flushed the grounds. Here's his rainwater collection system for flushing the toilet. So pretty cool stuff. Anyways, I've got my coffee. I'm gonna wander down the road. My aunt and uncle live up here, and I'll go see if I can't snake a egg sausage sandwich off of them. All right, we're gonna do it.
What's happening?
All right, so this is Joe, and we are prepping the trail for Joe and Joel's excellent hard enduro.
Yep.
Tomorrow afternoon. And you see a little bit of paint on the tree. So we got it all cut around. We got about a good, I don't know, about mile of trail. It's gonna get gnarly, so
It's gonna rain a couple inches tonight, so that's gonna be fun.
Stay tuned.
Hola, señorita.
Can't give you what you've always wanted, but I'll always give you what you need. Written in the book of 1,000 pages, in some other language you never read. Like some trinket gone out of fashion, by the reaction. Never bother with the fate of play.